Hi there, and welcome to Slippery Rock NYC's animation podcast using After Effects and Flash, and as you can see, also Photoshop. This is episode 2. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to build the elements you need for a puppetable character, such as mouths, eyes, arms, hands, as you can see on the screen here. As you also can see, I don't have all the pieces there because this character is flippable, which means his left side matches his right side, so there's no sense in making extra Photoshop elements when in After Effects we can just duplicate that comp and flip it and put it onto his other side there. Let's look over here at the layering window here, and I will walk you through what we have and what was needed. So let me turn off all of these except for the ones we need. So let's see, we have the mouth elements, and as I've mentioned in the next tutorial, as I mentioned in the following podcast, episode 3, about how to build a mouth comp using timer mapping and expressing the timer map to a null, you only really need to have about 8 to 10 mouth pieces to really have the ability to do lip sync to audio. And I'm going to walk you through here on the pieces that I've built. So this is a BMP. This is for B, M, and P sounds, just a neutral mouth that you can have on while he is not talking. Then we have an in-between mouth, and these 3 in-between mouths here, or 2 in-between mouths here actually, just get you to where you need to go. Basically, they fill in the gaps between a really open mouth and a closed mouth, and it just helps smooth out the animation of the mouths themselves and makes it less poppy. Then we have the E and the S sound. We have an ah mouth, which is great for any excited sound, plus, ah. We also have the O mouth, and we also have an oo mouth, which you can also use an R if you'd like. And then we also have a CH R mouth too. This is also a very good mouth to have. Also, in this character, I gave him eyebrows, which in this piece is more like a mask. In some characters, you'd have an actual curved eyebrow that you could have as separate layers, and that you could puppet up and down, rotation, even use some distortion effects in After Effects to give it more expressions. Then we go to the lids here. As you can see here, these are closed lids. You can use these and mask them off to create half lids and open eyes. You could also build in Photoshop, half eyes and open eyes if you want, or even other expressions to give you, a sad look or a happy look. Here are his pupils. Here are the whites of the pupils that they will be sitting on. This is a patch behind it. This is just some extra stuff that I needed to make this character animate well, make the character design work for the type of character I wanted to make. Each character doesn't have to have an eye patch. It depends on what you're making. Here we have the head mane layer. This is the basic part of his head, and it also includes the ears. Sometimes you might want to break the ears off. In this case, I left them. You can also separate these ears in Photoshop, and then in After Effects have them rotate from an anchor point, down here, or you can even use CC Bend It to give you a little bit of a floppy animation where the actual ear distorts. Also, for this specific character, I have a shoulder pad, I have a belly color, I have his torso. Let me turn off his head and stuff here. And this is basically his torso that I built for this specific character. Now, sometimes you might want to just merge the shoulders and the belly design down to the torso here, to the body mane, so that in After Effects it's a little bit cleaner, so you just have one piece instead of all 3 pieces. It depends on how you want to work, and the reason why I left it here is so that I can actually take this belly in After Effects and move it and give it a little bit of perspective change when I animate it, and that I could set up in a future tutorial. Okay, and then also I built the lower arms, the upper arm. Let me keep the torso on so you can see what it looks like compared to that. Another lower arm, another upper arm. The best way to handle arms and legs is to build out the piece as a continuous piece here, and then going in and using the marquee tool to create a perfect circle like that, so that the lower arm joint continues around through here and out that way, and then the upper arm joint will continue through and around this way. And since this creates a perfect circle, when you do rotate the element, it won't break away from the arm. You won't see any weird dislodgings or points popping out of the arm. It keeps a nice fluid curve and continuation of the arm. Now do the same thing for the other arm, and then do the same thing for the leg. So you have the upper leg, it has a nice joint here and a nice round joint here. There's the lower leg, so if you rotate the lower leg, you will not see it break apart. It'll look like a continuous piece of artwork. This works well for characters such as this, where it's kind of a photorealistic looking element or textured element. This might not work for characters that have traditional drawn animation style where there's an outline and a interior color, because you will see the outline break apart and it just won't look as natural. And to solve that is actually using the puppet tool in After Effects, where you keep this as a continuous piece and use the puppet points to create the bend that you need, which I will explain in a future podcast. I also want to walk you through other elements that you would need to build, such as feet and hands, because these are not easy to recreate in After Effects, so it is better to have it before you build the character. You can also add on new layers of feet and hands when you run into different issues for the scene. So here are different feet that I have created in Photoshop. We have a standard underfoot, we have a down foot, we have a side foot here on his toes, it looks like, and I have a standard front foot and another standard front foot, which is slightly to the left of it. It can give you a more dynamic pose when he's standing there. There's other feet that you can create, especially if there's specific feet needed for the scene that you're working on. And then let's go down to here where I have hands. I have a standard palm, I have a fist, I have a standard rest hand on its side. This is great for having the character have its hands down at its hips. And it looks like about it for this character. You will want to make more hands than this, such as a point. You probably want a full backhand, so instead of having the palm here, you have the back version of that. You'd probably also want to design a turnaround to give you more in-betweens, so you have smoother transitions between these hands. But for now, I only have these hands, and that'll work perfect for this tutorial. And that is pretty much it for creating the design in Photoshop. These are the basic elements that you would need, and you can really rig this character up very, very well using just these elements. Basically, this is what you would need for a fully functional character in After Effects. You could always build more layers later on and add them in. Well, thank you for joining me for the Slippery Rock NYC